everybody, to, I don't know if I even want to call this an episode of Cinema Royale. It's just kind of a fun little Punch Drunk Critics thing.
Yeah, special edition.
Yeah, I'm Travis Hobson. That's John Nolan. We are the Punch Drunk Critics.
Hey, everybody.
Every day at punchdrunkcritics.com. And I'm freshly returned from Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con. I got back late as shit last night. I had a hell of a time on flights there and back.
I heard it was not the greatest weekend for air travel.
It was not. Getting there was shit. I got delayed like 4 hours. Had 2 planes get jacked up. So yeah, that was bad. And I ran into delays on the way home too. And if you can tell from my voice, I'm also a little bit sick. That's what happened. A bunch of dirty geeks for 5 days. So yeah. So that's what it was. But it's all worth it. You know, it is. You don't realize that it's worth it until Saturday comes around, and like Saturday is the big like Hall H day.
Mm-hmm.
Warner Brothers and Marvel, and this year we also had House of the Dragon there as well. So Saturday was a really big day. Makes it all worth it. And Marvel came out swinging,
didn't they?
It's
crazy. I've famously never gone because I think we make fun of me every year for that. But this year was the first year I got kind of a taste of what that Saturday evening, afternoon craziness is about. As you and I are,
you have to go next year because I've got a plan for how to do this now. It's only taken me 12 years of going or so.
But it was, I could tell it was insane from the East Coast. That's how crazy it was. And I think I mentioned to you then, I expected them to hold back and launch everything at D23.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing that's crazy about it.
You had said this. Yeah. Explain.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that's crazy about it is we all went in there saying the exact same thing. You know, Marvel will, their panel's only an hour long. They're not going to do that much. They'll probably come out here and they'll start with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and they probably won't do much more beyond that. And because they'll save so much for D23, but they didn't do that. Instead, they came right out of the gates, like bang, 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 just announcement, trailer. Some of which have not even been released yet. These trailers, they haven't put them out yet. And they just kept going for well over an hour just because I missed the entire other panel I was going to go to because it went long. And they just kept coming with more stuff to the point where I couldn't keep up. And I know I kept messaging you like, fuck, man, they keep putting all this shit out. And it was just too much. It was just too much.
Yeah.
And compared to what Warner Brothers did that morning, Warner Brothers had a really disappointing panel to a lot of people. I thought it was fine, but they really only talked about 2 things, which was Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Black Adam, and they didn't talk about anything else, which is like they got so much else that they could have talked about. Is weird that they didn't. Like I didn't expect them to trot out Ezra Miller, considering everything that he's going through. But I thought
his replacement, maybe, but
right. But I thought you couldn't talk about Aquaman, or you couldn't talk about Blue Beetle or Batgirl or any of these other projects that are coming out. They didn't do any of that. So. But Marvel, on the other hand, they came out with all these announcements. And the thing that blew me away by it, and I was talking to our buddy Chris Bumbray about this, Joe Blow, is there's still a lot that they could have done. Like all the stuff that they announced, there's a lot that they didn't talk about at all.
Well, let's hit real quick. So, you can go to punchdrunkcritics.com and check out all the stuff that has been posted. But we know it was released publicly. What did you get in? I know I heard about Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania clip. There was a Secret Invasion clip. Was there?
There was a Secret Invasion trailer that they put out.
Trailer.
Yeah, it was a Secret Invasion trailer. It wasn't a clip.
Oh, wow.
It was an actual trailer. The Secret Invasion trailer looked incredible. In fact, I told Chris, who's also sort of my boss at Joe Blow, I guess. I told him this was my favorite thing out of everything they showed during the Marvel panel. Secret Invasion was my favorite, and it was my favorite because it felt like the spiritual successor to Winter Soldier. It's
really? Okay.
Paranoia, conspiracy thriller. You've got Skrulls invading and hiding in plain sight. You got an aged Nick Fury. He's not even wearing an eye patch anymore. You got Ben Mendelsohn's character. You got all this stuff going on, and it just has that feeling of an old school conspiracy thriller. And I was like, yes, this is exactly the kind of stuff I like. And so
it makes sense. It's kind of
Secret Invasion.
in the Nick Fury story arc, it kind of is the next movie in his story arc after Winter Soldier, because he kind of dropped off the. I mean, he popped in here and there after that, but he pretty much dropped off the map chronologically. Was it? And Captain Marvel, he was in after that, but
well, he went up into space with the with his Skrull friends. Oh, and this segment was hosted by Kobe Smulders. That's really why it's my favorite. And that's like the nice. And she factors heavily into the story as well, which obviously I like as well. So, but yeah, Secret Invasion looks incredible. Marvel sent out like a whole press release on everything they talked about here. And what's fascinating is Kevin Feige came out and he took us straight through from phase 4 all the way through phase 6, which is just, when you're like, that's nutty that he went that far ahead. He acted like he was going to stop at 5, and then he kept going, well, let's just, while we're already here, he put up the big board of everything, the big timeline board that I had showed you the picture of, and everything everything they had talked about had already come out, and so they start moving into phase 5, and then he said, let's just go into phase 6. And phase 6 is going to culminate with 2 Avengers films. There's been an Avengers film in a while by the time this one these come out. It's going to end with 2 films coming out in 2025: Avengers: The Kang Dynasty and Avengers: Secret Wars. Now, we just learned about an hour ago that Destin Daniel Cretton, the director of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, is going to be directing the Kang Dynasty. Now, I have to believe these 2 movies are coming out in such rapid succession. Like, the first one comes out in May 2025, the other one comes out in November 2025. That they're either going to be shot simultaneously or back to back. So I don't know how they're going to do that, if he's only going to do one, or they got somebody else coming in to do the other one. I don't know why they're going to do this.
Now, do those 2, because I always get Secret Wars and Secret Invasion mixed up. They're not 2 parts of the same whole, right?
I mean, not really, but we don't know what they're going to do.
Because my question would be, are these 2 Avengers movies directly connected, or is the phase going to be split where you have like
these 2 movies are connected? Yeah, these 2 movies are connected. They are a two-part story, similar to Avengers: Infinity War and Avengers: Endgame.
Because it'll almost be cool to, like, with the way they're going with like the foundational, like the Earth-based heroes and all that stuff, and then you also have all this cosmic-based stuff going on, to have 2 Avengers movies in the same year that covered each of those things. But I guess it's probably a better idea to loop them all up.
Calling it Secret Wars suggests a lot of possibilities. It suggests possibly the Beyonders showing up, or something like that. Now, I can't imagine them doing that. I really can't. I part of me believes that they're calling it Secret Wars, but it's going to be a completely different story from the Secret Wars stuff that we've seen in the pages of the Marvel Comics.
Well, that's what they do, right? Like Civil War was it takes the core component of that, whatever it is, and then changes the whole thing around. Right. Winter Soldier was the same way. It takes the core component and changes. That was more similar to the storyline, but not by a whole lot.
Right. So let's kind of go down the list of everything that Marvel has listed here. Yeah. And we'll start with they did show the new trailer for She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Did you get a chance to watch that?
I did. I was really hoping that the CGI would look better by now. It does it. It doesn't. There's something with it, and that's the best way to describe it, that it doesn't look right. It doesn't look. It's not that it looks bad. It's just, and maybe it's only certain spots, but it just doesn't look right. There's something with it that's off.
Something about it just seems off to me, and I'm still hopeful of the show that arrives on Disney Plus on August 17th, 2022. There's something about it that feels off to me. The footage that's in that trailer and the stuff they talked about during the panel really focused a lot on her relationship with Bruce Banner, played by Mark Ruffalo. He's going to be training her and so forth. He seems to be in a place of peace. Yeah. I'm curious what's going to happen with the Hulk, more than I'm curious about what's going to happen with She-Hulk. Because I'm like, is he going to stay like this peaceful Hulk forever? And he's just going to be like this side character for the rest of his time in the MCU? Because that would kind of suck. I mean, I like that a lot, and I don't want to see it. I want to see him smash things.
Yeah, I don't know that he needs a solo film at any point. I think he's actually a good character to show up as a, not a sidekick, but as a +1, like he was in Ragnarok. But Smart Hulk also doesn't seem like the best place to live from now on. Also, I mean, it's number one, it's been kind of cringy because think about in Endgame when he's dabbing with the kids and he's kind of joking around too much. It just doesn't seem like Hulk. Yeah. But I don't know how they would go back to separating him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways they could go with the Hulk though. And with all this multiverse stuff out there, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him revert to his I can't remember what the name of his character was deep at the end of time, like the aged version of the Hulk. I can't remember.
Oh, like the old man Hulk version for him, like old man Logan, but for Hulk.
Yeah, I can't remember what he was called, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do something like that. I did like the look of Jamila Jamil as Titania, and I'm curious to see how Tim Roth is going to be as the Abomination, seeing that character come back. And of course,
we got to look at the guy with the manta ray head. I always forget his name.
Which one?
It's the Hulk that's got the big fans on the side. That's not Abomination still. Abomination, unless they redesigned him. There was maybe it was Abomination because he was in that same prison cell.
I think you're talking about Abomination.
Yeah, they must have just changed the design from the last movie.
Yeah,
but
what he was called. Hold on.
And I did kind of like it. Yeah, you know what? It was Abomination. I was thinking of. It's just that they gave him back his head fins that he has in pretty much everything else, but he didn't have in the movie. But yeah, I didn't expect it to be so comedy based either, but I think that part could be a lot of fun.
Like Ally McBeal, right? It's clearly that they're going for Ally McBeal. The Maestro. That's what that Hulk was called. The Maestro.
Oh, okay.
That version of the Hulk. Yeah, it looks like they're going for Ally McBeal with superheroes, which I'm cool with that in general. And I think the show will probably end up being fun, but it also looks like the most missable of like the Marvel shows. Like if they don't watch it doesn't matter. It kind of looks like that, and I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, well, people thought that about Miss Marvel, and then look what you get. But Miss Marvel seemed like it was going to be.
Marvel also showed off Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which comes out on February 17th, 2023. They showed a trailer for that as well.
Anything cool in the trailer?
Bill Murray is in it.
Okay. That's unexpected.
Bill Murray is in the trailer. He pops up. Excuse me. So they venture into the quantum realm. Finally. We get to see Cassie Lang. She's all grown up now. She's looking like she's going to be her own sort of superhero. She's also kind of rebellious. I like that Scott Lang he's become an author, and he wrote like a book like Look Out for the Little Guy. It's like the name of it. He's like totally full of himself now.
Oh, is he? Oh,
because he helped save the world. So they go into the quantum realm, and Bill Murray is there, and it seems that he was the one who was kind of helping Janet Van Dyne while she was trapped in there. So
he was in there too.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I don't quite know who his character is, or if he's somebody that we know from Marvel Comics, but he's in there. So Bill Murray is part of the MCU now, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I always want to say that's surprising, but then again, Bill Murray is never a surprise. He could show up in my house in an hour, and I wouldn't be surprised because that's just Bill Murray.
Anywhere.
Yeah, at any time.
Yeah. We also got a lot of footage from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That comes out May 5th, 2023.
I saw you tweeting a lot about Adam Warlock. That he looks, it's actually looking pretty good.
We finally got to see Will Poulter as Adam Warlock. People have been asking for that character since the first Guardians movie. And people thought he was going to be in that one, and he wasn't. They thought he was going to be in 2. They kind of teased him, but no, he's not there. He wasn't there yet, but now he's here. Will Poulter, he looks badass now. He looks so different than the kid he was.
I know. I can't believe that.
And shit, or the Narnia movies and stuff. He's so different. He's big now.
See, that blows my mind because I just think of we're the Millers. You guys are getting paid too, and that's Adam Warlock, the ultimate alpha male. That's crazy.
Yeah. So we got most of the cast on the set. except for Zoe Saldana, which is interesting because Gamora features heavily in the footage. Of course, this is probably the alternate timeline Gamora, the one who does not know Star-Lord.
Right.
In the footage, he's trying to treat her as if she's the woman he always knew, and she's obviously rebelling against that. So it's not working out well. It was interesting because at one point during the presentation, a guy came walking up dressed in the suit as the High Evolutionary. The High Evolutionary is one of those really oddball Marvel characters. He has ties to the Avengers, the X-Men. I think he created the Knights of Wundagore. If you remember that cow type character that was in, I think, Shang-Chi, or no, Doctor Strange, that person who looked like a cow.
Yeah, it's like he's like a wizard with the horns and everything. Yep.
That person is one of the Knights of Wundagore. Well, the person who came up dressed as a High Evolutionary, who features apparently in this film, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, is Chikude Iwuji. Like, I'm sure I said his name wrong. And he's the guy who's in Peacemaker. So he's playing the High Evolutionary in the film, which I don't think we knew until this past weekend. Also, Maria Bakalova is going to be voicing Cosmo the Space Dog, which makes me very happy.
Any hint of the voice, like what it sounds? Was she in the trailer or in the footage?
Not that I remember, but she might have been. But she was there on stage to announce that. So I guess Cosmo is going to be a female in this version of the film.
How dare they? There's comic standings. Talking dogs are men. Everybody knows that.
Maria Bakalova was all over the place. She was at the party I was at on the IMDb boat for her movie Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. So,
you went to the IMDb boat?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
I did go to the IMDb boat. I did a lot of partying this year. I usually don't party at Comic-Con. I went to like 3 or 4 parties this time. So that's why I'm so tired. And probably also why I'm sick.
Could be, but some things are worth it.
It was totally worth it, which is why you got to go next year. So
yeah, it's happening. I've already cleared it with the wife. I made her feel really bad that I couldn't go this year.
Get your hall pass from the wife.
It's already printed and laminated.
Yeah, get your hall pass and say I'm going to Comic-Con, and whatever happens. And let's go have some fun. Guardians of the Galaxy looks like it's going to be great. I can't wait to see more of that. How excited are you for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 anyway?
I wish I could say more. I always love the Guardians when they're on screen, and when I see it, it's just, I don't know. I'm not excited for it, but I know I'll love it when it comes out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am. It's interesting because James Gunn was out there, and he was talking about this is the end of his story for these Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, this is probably the last we're going to see of this team together. Dave Bautista is certainly done. He's been.
And Chris Pratt said he was done too, didn't he?
I don't know if he said that outright, but I know that Bautista has been trying to get out for a while, ever since they first fired James Gunn. So he's been only trying to get out for a minute.
Side note: Dave Bautista holds grudges. All right, cool. Move on.
He's got enough to do. He doesn't need to do this.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, this is probably going to be the last we'll see this team, which makes me wonder, are we going to see a new Guardians team possibly under a different director? But I really don't know. But it was kind of a somber mood, though, because you kind of felt like this was the last you're going to see these guys.
Yeah, it's their goodbye tour.
Yeah, and I think of all the Marvel teams out there, the Guardians of the Galaxy has been the most fun.
Yeah, and not just that, they're the ones that proved what Marvel could do. I mean, you can say what you want about the cinematic landmarks of Endgame, but when they were able to take Guardians of the Galaxy off the page and put it in a highly, highly successful movie, you knew that they could do anything. Yeah. Literally no hurdle too high.
Yeah, because I remember you and I talked about it plenty of times. It's like, this is a really big test for them because nobody knows who the fuck the Guardians of the Galaxy are.
Yeah. I mean, we have a cartoon coming out with the I Am Group cartoon coming out, which everybody seems ready to rock for now. But there's a time when you were like, oh yeah, Marvel's going to release a movie with a talking tree and a cybernetic raccoon. You're like, wait, what? Huh? That sounds ridiculous. But they did it.
Yep. All right. So another. I think this is probably quietly maybe even the biggest news of the entire day. Daredevil Born Again.
Yes, I need to hear about this episode order.
18 episode season 1. 18 episodes. That's like an ABC series.
Yeah, that's
a
old
lot
school.
of episodes. That's almost double your typical Marvel series. Typical Marvel season. 18 episodes season 1, Daredevil Born Again, with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio returning, coming to Disney Plus in spring 2024. This set the place on fire.
Yeah.
When they announced this, because nobody was expecting it. It was absolutely insane. And I don't even know what to make of it. What do you think?
Honestly, I don't know. It's so strange in a number of different ways. I mean, I think we all knew that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio would be, getting featured again at some point soon. But the 18 episode thing really has my attention, because I'm like, what would cause them to make such a drastic change in what they normally do? I mean, that's, like you mentioned, that's 3 or 4 seasons of any one of these other Marvel shows. I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi, obviously Star Wars, but that was 6 episodes. So, I mean, this is triple that. It's, what story are they trying to tell? And then the Born Again subtitle, I'm really trying to rack my brain and think, how do you handle this properly? I mean, what do you think? Do you just not act like anything's in the background? Like there wasn't a transfer from Netflix. You just keep on running down the road and just act like everything's the same. Do you acknowledge it? Do you start over fresh and act like that stuff wasn't there?
Okay, first, the 18 episodes, you're probably leaning very heavy into the law aspect of it. You can't just focus on him as a hero. You got to lean into the other part of his life. I don't know, man. As far as acknowledging the Netflix stuff, I don't think you really do it. I think you kind of tip your hat to some things that happened that people will remember.
Yeah.
And maybe they still happen to them in this MCU. Like, this happened to them still, but you just don't have to deal with it directly.
It'll be interesting to see who they bring on as like Foggy or Karen Page. If they're doing Born Again, it's going to be anything like the comics. Karen Page has to feature, obviously, both of which were main characters in the Netflix series. But did they say anything about runtime of each episode? Like, they got to be 30-minute episodes? I mean, 18 hours of Daredevil. I
don't recall them saying anything about a runtime per episode, but 18 episodes is a lot. I don't know how they're going to pull it off. I'm curious to see, though. I'm very curious.
It raises so many questions.
How this plays out could say a lot for what they do with Jessica Jones or Luke Cage, or even the Punisher, or probably not Iron Fist. But I mean, you never know what they're going to do, and I have no idea. I have my own idea about what they're going to do with some of those other characters. Like, I think Jessica Jones will show up in another show. I feel like her and Nick and Luke Cage will show up in a show together.
Do you think they'll bring Mike Coulter in?
Like, I feel like there's a Heroes for Hire show around the corner that they haven't talked about yet. Like, that's what I feel like is going to happen. Like, we're not going to get Luke Cage by himself, but we'll get Heroes for Hire. And maybe that's where we get Iron Fist back, because you don't put Iron Fist in his own show again. But if you
maybe that's why there's 18 episodes. It's titled Daredevil and all that, but you have 6 for Daredevil, 6 for Jessica, 6 for Luke, or 4, and then the final 4 for the Defenders.
No, I don't think you go through. I think if you're going to call it Daredevil Born Again, you better focus on Daredevil. But I think there's no reason why those characters can't make appearances. Like, maybe they'll make their MCU debuts in this show. 18 episodes is a lot of time. So who knows? But
that's the other thing. I mean, not all. I mean, sure, people will get butthurt about it because everybody's favorite is somebody different. But there's nothing saying that all these characters have to have their own show. I mean, some characters are
why I think Heroes for Hire is probably a better idea.
Yeah, like look at Nick Fury. I mean, he was a highlight of the entire MCU, and outside of that wonderful David Hasselhoff film in the 90s, he didn't have his own movie. So. Which I'd love to see them play with in the multiverse, by the way.
I would love a Heroes for Hire show that was like The Equalizer or something, where they go out and they help people.
The A Team kind of.
Yeah, something like that. I'd love a show like that with
Oh, for sure.
with like street level heroes or something like that. I would love that. That would be.
If Spider-Man pop in every once in a while,
Yeah, if they needed to. They could get a hero that could pop in. There's a lot of stuff they could do.
Not even to fight anybody.
That's what they'll do more likely than having them show up in the movies. But
yeah, that was crazy though.
Yeah, it was nuts. And also because Daredevil popped up in the She-Hulk trailer too at the very end, because it looked like it was him.
Oh, that's right. Yep. And because he was suited up and everything, flipped right over, and then
which makes sense considering they're both attorneys. The Captain America movie, Captain America 4, is titled Captain America: New World Order. That comes out on May 3rd, 2024. That would be Anthony Mackie's first go as Captain America. New World Order suggests quite a lot, though, and that's the title of a Captain America storyline, if I remember right.
Yep, it is. I'm trying to remember if it's the one where you get it, and I think this is why I think it is. I haven't taken the time to look it up, but I think it's the one where in the Cap comics there was a whole run where these people dressed up with and put A's on themselves like they were being Cap, and they were basically like Proud Boys or something like that. And Cap had to go out and tell him that that's not what he is and not what he represents. And that the parallels with what's going on now, and then obviously already with Captain America and the Winter Soldier, they've gone to use their platform to voice against stuff like that. I could see them going that route, and they really need to.
Right. Yeah, it could be. I have no idea what the storyline was. Yours sounds about as good as I can think of. So yeah, I'm anxious to see Anthony Mackie as Cap. Julius Ona is going to be directing that. He's kind of got a mixed track record. So he did the Cloverfield Paradox, which was terrible, but he also did Loose, which was really good. So yeah.
I just love that rocking costume. His entry with the new costume and Captain America and the Winter Soldier was just one of the most perfect moments. Busting through all white.
Oh yeah. So we also heard a little bit about Echo. Not much though. Loki season 2, that's coming summer 2023. Ironheart, which is streaming in fall 2023, and that ties into Black Panther. I was
wondering when we're going to get to that.
Well, I mean, it was the last thing of the show, so I mean, the only other things I would mention are the Thunderbolts movie, which is coming in July 26, 2024. That's going to be the last thing in phase 5, I believe. Thunderbolts phase 5.
Yeah.
And then you got the Marvels, which is also in 2023. Blade, which begins shooting in October and opens in November 2023. They didn't give us any additional info on that, which was disappointing. And then Agatha, Coven of Chaos. That's the new title for the Agatha Harkness series that's coming out with Catherine Hahn. I like the name change too, Coven of Chaos. It suggests she's going to have a whole coven of witches by her side.
Very alliterative too in the Marvel. Marvel method.
Winter 2023 for that. But yeah, so the Ironheart series, that ties us right into Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which is how they ended the show. Ryan Coogler came out to talk about Chadwick Boseman. This is just really kind of a somber affair at this point.
Yeah,
talking about Chadwick and how he's still with them and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of people in the crowd were brought to tears over it, understandably. They had to perform a live performance from a group that was dancing and singing and tribal verse and tribal gear. And the cast came out and they all kind of hugged and celebrated Chadwick for a while. And then they gave us a trailer. Trailer. And the trailer, which everybody has seen, has probably been watched 30 billion times at this point. I know I've watched it 4 or 5 times. The whole thing is about loss and missing T'Challa, missing him as a leader, and how it affects the women in his life, because he was surrounded by women, powerful women,
Mm-hmm. Angela Bassett has a quick scene where you see the power of that woman come flying out. But the thing I loved about the trailer, outside of that amazing "No Woman, No Cry" cover that slowly crescendos into the war part, is that you can tell how Wakanda deals with something like this. Like at first, I'm sitting here watching, like, what's all this? Everybody's dressed in white and they're dancing. And I was like, oh, it must be T'Challa's funeral, because Wakanda is the type of place that would celebrate life rather than mourn death. And you kind of get that in the beginning, and then you get the anger in the middle. Almost goes through the stages of grief there for a while, and you get some really good shots of the Atlanteans, and Tina Huerta, who looks just imposing as all hell.
Yeah. We get Tina Huerta. He came up on stage as Namor. So we got our first look at Namor. We got to look at whoever's playing Namora as well. And we got to look at Dominic Thorne, who's going to be playing Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, who is a teen genius who built her own kind of Iron Man-esque suit. And I don't know how she fits into Wakanda. Like, I don't know what that storyline is yet.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that'd be Shuri's friend. I got to imagine and I bet they'll do some kind of like exchange student program or something where they met at MIT or something like that. And but did you get, to jump from Hall H for half a second, I know you went to the Funko booth. So did you see the Ironheart Funko they had out apparently?
I mean, I know they put out a whole bunch of them, but I didn't think they're not for sale yet.
Yeah, no, I just meant as far as looks. I mean, because it's actually pretty cool. From what I saw, it's very Iron Man-y from the neck down, and then she's got I
posted it on the site because I posted them all for pre-order. And I posted that one up there too. So yeah, I mean, I saw it in that way, but I didn't see it in person.
No, didn't see it in person.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it in person. So trust me, I bought my share of Funkos also. Not as many as I used to, but I still bought plenty. But yeah, the whole Black Panther trailer was pretty stunning, and I love the way they weaved in the Atlanteans into this. Yeah. It kind of looked like Avatar for a minute, but that's fine.
It did.
But I'm curious to see how this is going to go. This war that's clearly going to break out between the Wakandas and the Atlanteans. What happens?
And who's the third party in the situation? Because it's in the trailer, you do see some tack geared operators taking some poor woman that's crying and breaking into Atlantis, basically. But I can't imagine those are Wakandans, so it's got to be a third party.
No, it's probably some white interloper, who's out there trying to steal the resources.
Colonizer.
Yeah, that's almost assuredly what it is.
I'd be disappointed if it went any other way.
Exactly.
But so they told us that phase 5 is the Multiverse Saga now, right? Or was that phase 4?
4, 5, and 6 will be known as the Multiverse Saga.
Okay, so I just wanted to confirm that because
the first 3 phases were the Infinity Saga.
Right. So just looking at this, that's the only big question I have after this panel is, and I think everybody was hoping to get some clarity on that, on what the goal was, what the end game is. We did get some idea. We got the 2 Avengers movie, Kang Dynasty, coming up, but I don't see anything multiversey on here outside of Quantumania and Loki. Maybe Agatha.
I forgot to mention Fantastic Four also, which that comes out in 2024, and that's going to be part of Phase 6. Right. I mean, I think there are things in here that are going to be multiversal that we don't know about yet. Like Fantastic Four almost certainly will be.
Yeah.
Loki season 2 probably will be.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it almost has to be, considering it's the thing that really kicked off this whole multiverse stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's probably a lot of things in here that Phase 6 is almost entirely empty. It's only got 3 things in it: Fantastic Four, and then the 2 Avengers movies. It's only got 3 things in it. So I expect there'll be a lot of stuff filling in the gaps there that would be very multiversal. But it seems like most of this stuff will have some component of it, even if it's not like the whole thing driving the story.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of like how the first 3 phases, not every movie had like a direct connection to Thanos, but they all played a part in the puzzle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, some of it was world building, some of it was character introduction.
Yeah.
But I mean, the one thing that's easy to miss when looking at this Phase 5 graphic that they put up, and again, it's on punchdrunkcritics.com, so you guys can take a look as well. But you see all these movies, like that's awesome. And then when you look at it, you even read it, but don't realize until you commit to mind that these are almost exclusively in 2023. Three of the shows and slash movies are in 2024, but that's 4, 6, 8. That's 9 properties throughout the year in 2023, all of Marvel. So if they're looking to test fatigue, that's going to be a good test. But I don't think. I think the thing is, these shows and these movies are different enough, and they're bringing in new things enough that it's keeping it fresh. Like Miss Marvel, for instance, not a character I really had a ton of interest in, but I forget her name. The girl that plays her was just so freaking adorable and so good in the role.
Yeah, she's great.
But then bringing in things that are interesting, of course, as a random white dude, you end up feeling guilty right away, because it's like when I watched Watchmen and I had never heard of the Tulsa Massacre, and now I was like, wait, partition? What's partition? Never knew. But they're doing enough.
I didn't know about the partition either. In fact, I bet you most people didn't.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't just me then. But they're bringing enough new stuff, and they're doing it in an intelligent enough a way that it's keeping it fresh. So
look, you got to imagine with all these different shows, there's going to be ups and downs, in terms of quality and in what draws people's attention. And some things are more niche than others. I mean, most people are going to perceive the things that they think have a larger impact on the MCU, and probably more people are going to watch those. But if you see something that like we talked about with She-Hulk earlier, She-Hulk doesn't seem like it's going to have a major impact on the MCU. So I will be surprised if it's like one of the highest rated of the shows. It probably won't be.
Yeah.
Even if it's good, it probably won't be, because I think people will perceive it as being sort of like, skippable.
Yeah. All right. So we'll put our bets in now. We'll collect in August 2024. Best and worst property on this board. What do you think at the end of the day? What do you think is going to be the best property, show or movie? What do you think is going to be the worst?
I think the best out of all of these is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy 3. No, wait, okay. I take that back. I think it's going to be Secret Invasion.
I'm surprised. I thought that's what you were going to say. Okay. And worst?
There's a difference between which one I'm most looking forward to and which one do I think is going to be the best. I'm almost certain that Secret Invasion and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will be amazing.
Yeah.
What about you?
And kind of the same way, what I'm most excited for is Captain America, just because I'm a Captain America nut. But, I'm so intrigued by the 18 episodes of Daredevil that, I'm wanting to go to that. But I think there's a real chance that Ironheart might be really big, because, I on one hand, I think it might be kind of gauche to have the same character as Essential again, but as they're building the new Avengers, having Riri Williams in there and having her show and introducing her. Iron Man was a central component of the first group. I don't see why Ironheart wouldn't be a central component of the next. And outside of the Marvels, regarding the next team, there's not much out there.
There's a lot of stuff that they didn't put out here. Like there's no WandaVision season 2. There's no Shang-Chi 2, which I think that movie probably gets moved into like phase 7 or 8 now, because Destin Daniel Cretton's going to be busy with one of the Avengers movies. There's no Armor Wars. Armor Wars.
Oh yeah.
Armor Wars is a series they've talked about a lot. The one that's going to be led by Don Cheadle's War Machine. So that's not on here at all. Does that show up in phase 6? I mean, I don't know. Or maybe that gets moved further down the line.
And not for nothing, but Don Cheadle's not getting any younger. I mean, you move that to 2006, you're talking about have a 65-year-old man in there.
Look like he's aging though. Like Don Cheadle has one of those faces. I don't think he looks like he's aging very much. So
no, certainly not. I mean, he was born in 64, so I'm not good at math, but that probably makes him in the late 50s. But the thing with people like that is they don't age until they do. As soon as they hit that age, all of a sudden they look like,
why do you want
Benjamin Mutton being born.
Why do you want him to get old?
I don't. I want Don Cheadle to live forever. I'm just saying, when you're dealing with these stretches of times that are huge, and I mean, I don't know. I'm just excited. I'm overexcited. Did you get a pass switching over to DC? Did your pass light up when The Rock came out?
Oh yeah, I still have it. It's over there, right over there.
That's so cool. I heard about it like offhand somewhere. Apparently, for everybody out there doesn't know what I'm talking about. I'm sure everybody's seen by now. Dwayne Johnson came floating down out of the sky, and then he put his hands out like he was doing lightning, and everybody's Hall H pass lit up like it was being electrified or something like that.
Yeah,
that's cool. So I had a Chris Farley moment then. Do you remember when he went in there? That was cool.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. Dwayne Johnson was pretty funny during that panel.
Yeah.
So no Henry Cavill talk during that panel. Well, that's not true. Somebody did ask him about Henry Cavill, and he got booed because he was like, "Oh, it depends on who's Superman." Boo. Yeah, it wasn't a good answer. He spent the next day trying to like walk it back. So
right. Now, I know you probably want to wrap it up here, but I just got two things I want to hit on. Number one, Shazam: Fury of the Gods. You are far more tapped into the news than I am, but I don't remember seeing anything. When and why did they recast half the family?
What do you mean? Why they recast half the family?
Well, like in the trailer, and it's like Adam Brody's not one of the super siblings anymore.
Yes, he is.
He was not.
What?
He was, or at least in the trailer, like when they're walking through and Shazam's in front and they Shazam and they all change. Freddy's superhero was like some guy with weird long hair.
He is in it. He's still there.
Okay, well, it's always possible that I'm just dumb, but
yeah, I was about to say, I didn't see that they recast anybody.
That's why I was so confused. Like I saw Megan Good and obviously Zach Levi, but everybody else looked different to me. Okay, so and DJ Contreras, I saw him too. All right, and then the last thing I wanted to ask you about, I really need to know about. I texted you about this while you're out there, I think. Let's talk about the floor just for a minute, specifically the Sideshow collectible booth. How awesome was that in person?
I mean, I always send photos from their stuff, like every year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their stuff looks incredible. It's always one of the things that I make sure to post photos from whenever I walk through it. The entire floor is amazing, but yeah, the Sideshow collectibles booth looks insane. The only one that's better to me is like Funko's whole setup. Funko's setup is crazy. But
that whole village, no?
Yeah. But yeah, it looks awesome. Their stuff's so detailed. It's too bad I'll never own any of it.
It is but expensive, that's for sure.
It's way too expensive. Way too expensive. I bought a $75 shirt, and that's like the most I've ever spent there. No, that's not true, because I bought a Star Wars backpack, and that was $85. So yeah, those are the most expensive things I bought there in a while. And not since I bought that Metroplex like years ago.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, but you'll get to see it next year, because you're gonna go next year.
I mean, I've said it over and over again, but it's not a joke. I told my wife that
if anything, I this year proved that I need help out there. And I always try to explain it to people when I'm out there, because I'm with my colleagues who are like with like real sites that have like real things to do. And I'm like, I come out here for fun. And in general, I do. But I do some work while I'm out here. And it's like, but even just doing a little bit of work, it's still a lot. And I'm like, oh yeah, God, yeah, I have like one more person. Like the year Ronnie came was like a breath of fresh air, and he didn't even do that much. So
yeah, and it's stressful, because I like when one thing comes out, and then by the time you start writing out like 16 other things, I can imagine. But I told my wife, I said, look, I'm going out. I was like, if you guys really have a problem with it, then we're all going. It's either me or we're all going. You guys can go walk around while me and Travis go do press stuff. So one way, either a Nolan will be there, or all the Nolans will be there next year for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know how I changed the screen like that. I don't know what happened. How did I do that? Oops.
I'm having screen issues too. I've actually been having to look up at the.
I accidentally changed like where we were on the screens. We're kind of like up and down. We were like, I don't know how I did that, but oh well, whatever. Anyway, this has been great. This is our Marvel Hall H recap from San Diego Comic-Con. It was a blast. It always is. San Diego Comic Con is one of those places that I say that everybody should go at least once. Just experience it and just have a good time. So I made sure this year to do some other stuff besides just go in the hallways too. Sometimes I forget to go out there and just look for the shit I like and to enjoy myself. So I went to I went to a Funko panel. I went to a Street Fighter panel. I went to the Street Fighter 6 booth and I played and I beat some ass. So
still got it, huh?
well, I had it for those few fights. I'm sure if somebody better had stepped up, I would have got my ass whooped. So, but anyway, it was good. It's a good time. Comic Con. Always make sure you can get out there and go check it out. So, all right. Nice. Well, this has been our show, whatever we want to call it. I'm Travis Hobson. That is John Nolan. You can find us every day at punchdrunkcritics.com. You can also find us on YouTube, where you'll find this video shortly. Or you're probably watching it on YouTube now. Hopefully you'll subscribe and like us and continue to follow us, whether here or in podcast or on our website. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.